Drew answered all the questions. Drew filled out our survey for us on air because it was something a little fun. And The Athletic did a survey of Tennessee fans, and they basically asked Tennessee fans their expectations or where they were at and everything as far as the program goes. Well, those numbers have been tabulated and compiled, and here are those numbers. The biggest question was, or not biggest, one of the questions was, did you approve of the firing of Jeremy Pruitt? Did you approve of the firing? Would you have said yes or no?
It was warranted, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, 93% of the fans say yes.
Yeah.
It was warranted.
Yeah.
Did you approve of the firing of Jeremy Pruitt for cause?
Yes. I would, from a fan standpoint, I could see the justification. Yes, yeah. I would think
56% said yes.
That's lower.
23% said they were unsure.
What are they unsure?
I don't know. 19% said no.
That's a lot lower than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah. Okay, how would you rate Danny White's hire of Josh Heupel? 1 was poor, 5 is excellent.
I think they'd give him around a 3.5, 4, somewhere.
3
in that.
was the magic number. 54% said 3. 26% said 4.
What did Drew say?
Drew was about a 3. He was right in there. He thought that one was good. How would you rate Josh Heupel's performance as a Tennessee coach so far? 1 being poor, 5 being excellent. And to Drew's point, he said you can't really rate his performance because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he's 0-0. He's got the same record as Mike Price at Alabama.
And he's coached as many games as Mike Price.
Yeah.
4 is the number there. 42% say so far they would rate his performance as a 4. Only 1.3% gave him a 1.
I love Tennessee fans. I love Tennessee fans.
Oh, okay. Here's the big one, though. How would you rate the state of the program?
You never know.
1 being poor, 5 being excellent.
The overall program, not just football.
The
everything.
State of the program. I imagine it's the football
just
program. Just football program. 1 through 5.
I mean, if they're being honest, it's like around a 2.
Bingo! Look at you, right on fire. 2 is the number. 48.2% said number 2. 28% gave it a 1. 0% gave it a 5. 1.3 gave it a 4.
See, the 0 fan, I would imagine, has been burned so many times over the last couple of decades. Because it's been a minute since, 1, they've even been in the SEC championship, and 2, won it.
Yeah.
So it's I could get that. I could get Vol fan being that depressed to put 0 on that answer.
The best, though, is the responses from the fans on how you would describe the program.
This is why I listen to Tony Basilio after a loss.
Somebody put, we're like a cargo ship that's caught fire and been subsequently abandoned in the Pacific Ocean. We're drifting along aimlessly and burning to the ground all at the same time.
Burn the ships. Burn the ships.
Another one put, adrift in the sea of misery with only a few transfers. Deep Beckwith's mystery position and Mike Eckler's tweets to keep us floating along.
It's fantastic.
An absolute mess that can't get out of its own way, that desperately needs stability, still can be a top program, though. And then
the light at the end of the tunnel.
And then somebody put, Tennessee football is like a yard that's been inundated with thatch. Yards with thatch may look okay on the surface, but there's an impermeable layer of organic matter below that stifles healthy new grass's growth.
This is like, he's talking about living on a farm, and all of a sudden you're cutting the yard, and holy cow, there's a dilapidated car right in the middle of the yard.
And here is one that will not surprise Alabama fans one bit. Which outgoing transfer was the biggest loss?
Pick a running back. Pick a running back.
Nope. Henry To'oTo'o to Alabama. 66.8% said Henry To'oTo'o. 28% said Eric Gray.
Yeah.
The rest of them, 2.9% was Wanye Morris. He was basically the highest from there. Everybody else just got, like, crumbs. So.
And To'oTo'o goes to Alabama.
Yep. So, I mean, that is some of the numbers there. Will Josh Heupel win an SEC title at Tennessee? 74% say no.
Wow. They are starting to believe in their mediocrity. Wow.
This was.
Wow.
I know these numbers were.
And by the way, if you are mid-40s and older, you remember good Tennessee. I mean, you can remember those conversations back in the 90s where you started your conversation in the SEC with Florida and Tennessee. I mean, wow.
Let's get to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Shane Sean is with us this morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Hey, as an Alabama fan looking at it, I can see how Tennessee fans a lot of them would have said they was unsure whether Pruitt should have been fired for cause, because for a long time nobody even knew what the world was going. They just said he had NCAA violations. They never even said what he done, and the most I've heard about is he's handing out cash in McDonald's bags. So I mean, they showed no proof of anything that he's done anything wrong. Period.
Jimmy Himes did dispute that report, saying it wasn't McDonald's bags, it was Wendy's bags. I'm kidding. He seriously disputed the McDonald's bag story, but did report that they were being paid in some way, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
From
well,
Jimmy.
I mean, from their point of view, I can understand why a lot of them would say they was unsure about being, fired for cause.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm almost mid-40s, and I remember when Tennessee was. I mean, I hate Tennessee. I hate them bad, but I remember when they was good.
Seems like forever now, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I'll be 42 next month, and it's. I mean, Tennessee. I miss Tennessee being good because it makes the SEC better. It really does.
See, I'm not buying into that. No, I'm good. I'm good with Tennessee being down for another decade or so. I'm good with that.
Oh,
You're looking
good.
through that through the
I'm
Georgia-colored glasses.
I'm good if
thought
Florida
like
goes down for a decade and Tennessee goes down for another decade.
I thought Kiffin come in and was going to turn Tennessee
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
They played Alabama. It took 3 blocked field goals for us to win the game.
Was that 09?
I want that.
I want to say that was 09.
That was the championship season. Yeah.
That was 09. And I want to see Tennessee and Florida. I want to see all the SEC do good. I mean, I even want to see Vanderbilt win half their games. That's what they consider is good. So.
Well, when James Franklin was there, they were winning 8-9 games. So
yeah, they won 9 games. I think they won 9 one year with Franklin.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I want to see that. I want to see all the SEC at the top. I really do. It makes it, whether Alabama wins or not. I mean, I want them to win bad. I mean, bad. But I want to see the rest of the SEC be good and competitive. It's got to the point that Tennessee is not even a rivalry to me.
Right.
From a fan base standpoint, I'd like to see Arkansas finally turn it around and be relevant.
Yeah,
and I think they got the right guy in charge out there in Fayetteville.
They have 100% got the right guy.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, I got to get back to work. I just wanted to.
All right.
put my
Thanks.
2 cents in on that.
Thanks, Shane Sean.
Thanks, Shane. 256-576-4977. So he brings up a great point. If Tennessee is relevant in the East, it does make the SEC better, because if you look at the East right now for the past, 6 years, it's been just Florida and Georgia. You go to SEC Media Days or whatever, you just pencil in Georgia or you pencil in Florida. You know Tennessee, Kentucky, they're not going to make a run at it. But you go back 15 years ago, and it was hard. It was hard to pick either Tennessee, Florida, or Georgia to win the East.
Yeah.
You really had to look at it, and you really had to look at see which one was better. And the football was good. I agree, though. If Tennessee is relevant, it does make the rest of the SEC just a little bit better, because it does. Because you look on the West, Alabama traditionally is going to always be there. And even when Nick Saban was not there, that's what frustrated Alabama fans, was that they were not where they thought they should be. And
Yeah.
Tennessee's riding that same boat right now. LSU has always been there. You can put LSU as one of the three. Auburn should be there every year. Their expectations are one of the top
Roller
three
coaster
programs.
ride.
Yeah, but
No
they
matter
should be
who's
there.
in charge.
But the West and the East, you look at it, there's 3 or 4 teams every year that we say should be there, and that's what makes the SEC good. Is the SEC good right now with just Alabama dominating everything?
Well, see, we're in the middle of the forest here. So I imagine at some point, you know what, I tell my daughter this every year, who's a Bama fan, that this magical run has got to stop at some point.
Right.
And if there is another team that I've got bigger question marks about, it is Alabama heading into the season. Not necessarily defensively, but offensively, with what's coming back for the Crimson Tide. But
If Alabama takes a step, and Alabama fans are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying this." But if Alabama takes a step back,
what, lose a game?
yeah, let's say
Is this a rebuilding year?
the unthinkable happens. Alabama loses 2 or 3 games a year. The rest of it for a couple straight years, not just 1 year, because we've seen Nick Saban do that.
Yep.
And then they come back and he just
Well, the last time he lost 3 games was 2010.
Yeah, and he just steps on the necks.
20. It's 2021.
Right.
All right.
So for 3 straight years or 4 straight years, Alabama takes that step back. What do we think of the SEC then?
I think it depends on the program that steps up. If it is a Texas A&M and Jimbo does what he says he's going to do,
Yeah.
or if it is an Ole Miss and Lane's able to get to Atlanta somehow, I think the more likely scenario is out there in College Station.
But do we look at the SEC as the dominant conference if Alabama takes that step back?
I think the SEC has built up their brand so much that, yeah, it would hurt the overall brand to have the top team get nicked up by a couple of games in the regular season, but I think the overall brand would still be just as powerful.
All right, and I'm talking about the brand, and we've got a lot of great football conversation ongoing right now, but Mike Candrea is the head softball coach at Arizona, and I don't know about you, but have you ever wondered how powerful the SEC network really is?
It's interesting of the other sports that we really weren't paying all that much attention to, how much we do today, and it's because of the SEC network.
Well, Mike Candrea says that, and he's the head softball coach at Arizona, and it all kind of ties into everything on how powerful the SEC has become. Listen to what he says about how the SEC network has helped softball in particular.
There's too much influence right now and too much self-promoting that somehow the Pac-12 is going to have to wake up, and we're going to find a way to match that. And I just really believe that throughout the years right now, the Pac-12 network hasn't really helped our case. We need to look at what do we need to do to get our people in front of everyone else, the audience that needs to be in front of. And to me, that's the next step in our conference right now is to fix what we have, because it's broken right now. It is a conference of champions, but you can't just sit on a conference of champions. We've got to do much more. And when I turn on the SEC network, they've got a show that looks like ESPN, and they've got every highlight of every game going on in baseball and softball. I mean, it's a big production, and obviously that's going to catch eyes. And unfortunately, you turn on the Pac-12 network right now, and all you see is a bunch of replays of games that have already been done. And people are smart enough right now to know that because of social media. They're pretty updated on things. And, it's pretty prehistoric right now, and we need to do something to fix it.
It's pretty damning. I mean, if anything, if I'm the new Pac-12 commissioner, one of my early phone calls is to said softball coach and say, okay, coach, if you want to bite this off, tell me what you want.
Just tells you how powerful, though, the SEC network and how powerful the conference has become
and
as a whole.
Done the right way as well.
Yeah.
That relationship, albeit with ESPN, and it's and even the Feinbaum program as well. It definitely does make that network a tad bit more unique in having that program. I know the ACC network tried to do it with a morning show, but it has not caught as much on fire because that was not an established show like Paul's was when the SEC grabbed them. So there was a bit of a difference. And you've got Wes Durham, who's kind of more of a play-by-play guy than a talk show host as well. But I digress of being a program director talking about talk shows. But to the brand itself, the SEC couldn't have done any better in terms of growing the network, and even out of the gate of their launch to the network. Was that 14? I want to say 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Was the launch of the network, and how many households they had out of the gate. That was a big story in the launch of the SEC network. And then you turn around and take a look at the quality of the brand that you have, which is the SEC, and I cannot help but think with the SEC network and name, image, and likeness coming up on July 1st, that this is going to make that brand of the SEC even more enticing, even to softball players. Yep.
All right, so see, we intertwined the SEC, Albert, we intertwined it all. Arizona Jay is back with us again, apparently. Apparently he didn't get enough in the first time around. Good morning, sir. Again.
Double dipping.
Yeah.
I usually don't do this, but I hear you talking about Tennessee and then the whole Arizona thing and everything. I think the problem with the Pac-12 right now is it's the West Coast, man. We got too much stuff to actually do to pay attention to football. Like, football is like religion out here. I mean, people go to church during football season, you guys go to church on Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? But as far as Tennessee, it's funny stories. Like, I remember, because I played at a junior college. It was Glendale Community College. And then you had Charlie Garner that played at Scottsdale Community College, which was crazy. But he went on to Tennessee before. It's Charlie Garner, right?
I think so.
No, not the one that played at that Georgia, but the other is the one that played at Tennessee, right?
I don't know. I don't know that answer, Jay. Not off the top of my head.
He played in the league, but like my friend that played at, because like Arizona, we have a bunch of junior colleges, and like they were like, dude, it was like 8 of us had him surrounded, and he threw a spin move on us. And he just, like, I don't know, he just, like, disappeared, and we turned around. He was already in the end zone. And that's when Tennessee was, like tough, you know what I mean? And then, like, I heard stories about when Alabama and Tennessee actually had a rival, and this guy it was when Johnny Paul Ballpark Franks used to be out here. And the guy called up, and he was like, the guy was like, yeah, my uncle got mad. Because it was like the Iron Bowl, you know what I mean, basically, but it was Tennessee and Alabama. He said, my uncle got mad because Tennessee lost. Then he walked all the way from Ardmore he walked all the way from Arab to Ardmore because he was so mad because Tennessee lost. It was like, wow, you got that much passion. but
Get your
that's
steps
all
in.
I got. You say what? You say what?
He got his steps in.
Man, I bet you his dogs was barking by the time he got home. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks.
I'm calling.
All right, Arizona Jay back with us. We got to get a break in. I have no idea. I kind of lost, as Drew would say, I'm lost on that one. Let's get a break in because when we come back, we need to talk high school baseball. Austin Sharp going to join us, break down some state baseball playoffs.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Decatur at Sandlin and Tammy. That one's a no injury, but it's got some blockage. Had one reported at Gate 9, Rideout Road, headed into the Arsenal. Reported with 4 vehicles involved. Still could be a slowdown there. Popeye's 3-piece snack is only $4.99. You get 3 pieces of that crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit. Popeye's University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Having your own home is awesome, but it's also a lot of work. The good news, finding help for your projects is easier than ever. Introducing Angie, the app that puts all your home care needs at your fingertips. Need a pro to fix that emergency leak? Maybe find someone to build a deck, or even set your seasonal tasks on autopilot. Angie can handle all that and more. Expert pros, hundreds of home projects, clear pricing, and the easiest way to book and pay in seconds. This is Angie, your home for everything home. Download the app today.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An isolated shower is going to be possible this afternoon. The best chance for this is going to remain west of the I-65 corridor. This is really the only opportunity for appreciable rain I have in the near or distant future. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. Some of us could see the lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. More sunshine for your Wednesday. No rain in the forecast. Temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 80s, dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talkin Ball with Scott and Drew.
Thought Greeny was next.
No! Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, we need to get that fixed, don't we? Program director?
Yeah. Come on, Tom.
See,
Come on, Tom.
You're not usually here when
No.
that comes on.
No, I'm not. No.
See, now you got to hear it.
Yep.
And he also says on Unleashed, I'm just going to go ahead and say he
yeah.
makes fun of all of us. He says 97.7 The Zone all the time. It's 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yep.
So anyway.
Yeah.
We digress, and now we regress back to important stuff, and that is the state high school baseball playoffs getting underway in Montgomery. They got underway yesterday. And Steve, before we bring in Austin, Drew and I have been talking about this because last year, Drew is at state softball right now, and Steve Moulton filling in. But we didn't get to go through any of this last year. The kids did not get that. The seniors lost.
Yep.
No state soccer championships, no track and field championships. There was no state softball championships. There was no state baseball playoffs, no state baseball championships last year. And, we talk about how fun it is. We talked about Javon Harrison doing so well. But, these kids, this has to be a thrill. Yes, you're back there playing, but we're actually playing.
Yeah, it's got to feel talk about a long time for a payoff.
Yeah.
On some of these certain schools, Hartselle making a fantastic run right now. I just feel for the kids that weren't able to compete last year, but it's fun to get back to pseudo-normal now that we're all taking our masks off and getting vaccinated.
All right, let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and bring in our next guest of the morning. Does a fantastic job. He is the scouting director for Prep Baseball Report. They bring you wall-to-wall amateur baseball coverage in the state of Alabama. The state director he's very familiar with, and the state director is David Sharp, former Huntsville High head baseball coach. His son, Austin, now is the scouting director for Prep Baseball Report and does a fantastic job, knows the ins and outs when it comes to high school state baseball. And we thought we'd bring in Austin now to help us break down the high school state baseball playoffs, which got underway yesterday with the 5A state title game, a game that Russellville took over Pike Road 3-1. Austin, you are with Scott and Steve this morning. Good morning, sir.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on, and thanks for all that you do for sports in the state of Alabama. I'm excited to be here.
Well, good. And let's start with game one yesterday, Russellville and Pike Road. We got to see Russellville extensively take on Madison Academy in what we thought was going to be one of the best series, if not the best series, in all of the state baseball playoffs. It lived up to its hype, and Russellville went on yesterday to get game one against Pike Road.
Yeah, when we got the first bracket for Class 5A, it was kind of, you didn't want to look down the road, but you looked and saw that potential Russellville-Madison Academy matchup at the North in the semifinals, and Russellville obviously was able to win that series in 3 games, and they got off to a good start yesterday. Jackson Lindsay, a senior first baseman who's headed to UAH, had 2 doubles and sort of led the way for that offense, hitting in the 3-hole. Right-handed pitcher Emmett Green went all 7. It went 6 2/3. They handed the ball over to Junior Reed Hill to get the final out. Pike Road actually had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out, I believe, but Reed Hill was able to come in and shut that game down. So it was a great game and a great way to get started down in Montgomery.
In terms of overall talent, you mentioned about tell me about what you are seeing from a talent basis that we could potentially see on the next level next year, Austin.
Well, I've told a bunch of people that I think there's some really good baseball in the state of Alabama, and I think it's, from the top of the state down to the bottom of the state, sort of starting in the bottom of the state and it's sort of in the Mobile area with Maddox Brunt. I'm sure you all have heard of him, a left-handed pitcher at UMS Wright. He signed with Mississippi State, and the reports coming out earlier in the spring that he had been up to as high as 98 or 99 miles an hour, and that's really impressive, especially for a left-handed pitcher in high school. And we got down to see him in the middle of the spring, and he was up to I think 95 when we saw him. And going up, Birmingham got some great talent with Hoover and all those Birmingham schools. Hewitt Trussville, Vestavia Hills. Dothan's a good area for baseball, and up in Huntsville, you've got Sparkman, Florence, Madison Academy, Phil Campbell, Russellville, and I've told a bunch of people that there's some really good baseball in the state of Alabama, and I think it's showing this week in Montgomery.
You mentioned Hoover, and their head coach is Adam Mosley, a coach that you are very familiar with. Your dad's very familiar with, former Grissom baseball coach. Austin, they come in 26-20. They don't have the most impressive numbers as far as record goes, but Coach Mosley has done a fantastic job of putting guys in the right place for this team to get to the 7A championship.
Yeah, they come in with a 26-20 record, which isn't really impressive by any means. But I mean, they come in. We mentioned in high school baseball, when you get to the area playoffs or the area, you're 0-0. It doesn't matter what your record was in the preseason. You just got to worry about finding a way to win those 6 games and finding a way to get into the playoffs. And that's what Hoover's done. And credit to Coach Mosley and his staff. They've done a great job sort of piecing that pitching staff. They rely on a bunch of sophomores, and then a senior right-handed pitcher, Matthew Hawsey, who will throw game 2 for them. Brewer Smith, a sophomore right-handed pitcher, who will throw game 1. And you knew they didn't when they didn't get off to the great start the start of the year. You knew they had as much talent as anybody. And I remember telling Coach Mosley after they got beat, I forget what their record was, but it wasn't good. Just telling them, I mean, you knew that Hoover was going to be there at the end, and they found a way to get into the playoffs, and it's really no surprise to us that they made it to Montgomery.
Westbrook Christian yesterday on the diamond for Game 1. Will Knowles, he's a name that a lot of UAH fans need to get to know because he is signed, and he will play for Coach Hunter Royer next year. Tell us a little bit about Will Knowles.
Yeah, that's a great get for UAH. He's a left-handed hitter. He hits in the 3-hole for them. I think he had a big RBI single up the middle last night in the second inning. He also pitched on the mound and went all 7 innings. I think I got him up to 82 miles an hour on the fastball, but went all 7 innings. Didn't give up a run. I think he gave up 5 hits and struck out, I believe, 6. But he's going up against a really talented lineup. GW Long is. I think they've won 16 out of the last 20 state championships in Class 2A, and they beat them. This is a matchup of. This is the same matchup in 2019. And GW Long was able to sweep that matchup, but Westbrook Christian got off to a great start last night, and it all started with Will Knowles on the mound and at the plate.
I did want to pivot back to. I realize they're not playing until tomorrow, but that Auburn Hoover matchup. Well, what are you looking for in that matchup, Austin?
When the season started. Those were, when we do our rankings, those 2 teams were at the top with Hoover number 1 and Auburn number 2. Obviously, Hoover didn't get off to the great start, as we mentioned, but Auburn has been as steady as anybody in Class 7A. They come in with a 34-6 record. I'd put their pitching talent up against anybody in any classification. They've got, probably 11 or 12 pitchers deep that they can roll out in a 3-game series and get, be really competitive against good lineups. And I think, they'll need that pitching to go up against Hoover this week. But I think the real question is what freshman Coach Semo is going to roll out this week. 2 weeks ago, he hit Allen, a freshman, came in and DH for them in the 3-hole. He just committed to Mississippi State, and he had a home run and a double 2 weeks ago. And then last week, outfielder Cotter Cosby got inserted at the bottom of the lineup and scored 2 of the runs in a Game 2 win over Central Phoenix City. So I guess I'm just waiting to see what other freshmen they have down there in Auburn. But it should be a great series. They've got a bunch of upperclassmen as well as Hoover. So that's one of the series that I'm really looking forward to down here in Montgomery.
Well, you mentioned a lot of SEC. There's a lot of SEC schools that are going into the state of Alabama and plucking kids out. And Westbrook Christian, again, this team is loaded. Samuel Dutton is also headed to an SEC school, right? He's headed to LSU?
Yes, he's headed to LSU. He's a senior. He's a right-handed pitcher, but he actually hits in that lineup. He hasn't thrown. I think he's thrown probably 4 or 5 no-hitters this spring, but he hasn't thrown over the last couple of weeks. I think he's dealing with some. I think he's trying to rest his arm, which is smart. You know, you want to be able to compete, but safety comes first for these players. So, wish him nothing but the best and a full recovery if it's a serious injury. But not sure what it is. But he's still contributing offensively for them. He hits in the 2-hole for them, and he's getting the DH. So, wish him nothing but the best. And he's had a great career at Westbrook Christian.
Wow. I mean, I know the whole season kind of winds down with these events in Montgomery. Is there any kid or two that has popped up on your radar that previously wasn't heading into this regular season, Austin?
Well, there's a catcher that I actually texted my dad last night. I got to see J.W. Long, and we've got a showcase coming up this Sunday, and I was looking at the roster for our showcase coming down yesterday, and I saw this Vanderhayden kid and saw that he was an 8th grader from G.W. Long. And once that game got started last night at 7, the Vanderhayden kid was actually catching behind the plate, and he looked really good. He jumped out to me.
An 8th grader. You said an 8th grader. Yeah. I just wanted to point that out.
An 8th grader, and especially playing catcher for a high school team and a really good high school team with G.W. Long at that. So that's impressive stuff.
Well, let's get your thoughts real fast on another local series that has a lot of people up here with their eyeballs on, and that is the Hartselle Tigers.
Oh.
They open up their best-of-3 series later today. They will take on Faith Academy in that 6A state championship game. How do you like, or what intrigues you about this series, and how do you see it kind of playing out?
There's a ton that intrigues me about this series. I think these are two really evenly matched ball clubs. You look at Hartselle playing as hot as anybody as of late. They've got pitching on the mound with J.T. Blackwood, Elliott Bray, who's a junior who's going to Auburn, and then Caleb Pittman behind him in Game 3. Will Turner, another left-handed pitcher who's a junior that's going to be headed to Auburn. In that lineup, you've got sophomore outfielder Coleman Mizell, who's headed to Alabama. He's sort of leading the way, both with power and can get on base and cause some trouble on the base pass. He hits in the 2-hole for them. Brody Morrow, a junior first baseman, Drew Carty, Eli Snelson. It's a really complete ball club, I think, is what we've said. You've got 2 freshmen in that lineup, JoJo Williamson and Peyton Steele, and I could spend days talking about these teams, but Hartselle is as deep, both at the plate and on the mound. When you look at Faith Academy, they've got pitching as well, and they've got a bunch of guys who are headed to Division I programs over the next couple of years. They come in with a 32-5 record. Hartselle at 29-14. That's one that I've got circled for today. It's going to be a long day here in Montgomery with games starting at 10, running all the way up to 7. But that's one I've got circled that I'll be at 4:00 at Patterson Field today.
You like Hartselle?
We have a podcast and we have our picks. I'm gonna let you go listen to that. I'm throw a podcast.
A homework assignment.
That is a
homework assignment.
That is a true professional right there.
Absolutely.
All right, Austin. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna let you enjoy that baseball. It's playing all day down there in Montgomery. You got Patterson Field, Riverwalk Stadium. Before you go, though, tell us a little bit about the showcase coming up for those that may want to see more baseball.
Yeah, we've got a big showcase coming up this Sunday at Spain Park. It's the Future Games Trials as well. We've got fewer of the showcases. You can find all of those on the website at prepbaseballreport.com/Alabama, and then follow us on our social media at PBR_Alabama. We've consistently got content coming out, especially with the state playoffs coming up, and we've got rankings, tournament showcases. So
and a podcast.
Yep, that's a podcast family, right? So, yeah.
All right, Austin. Thanks for taking the time to join us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Austin Sharp, Prep Baseball Report, scouting director, taking in all of the baseball games. Steve, I mean, come on, growing up as a kid, If you would have told me that, man, you're gonna just watch baseball players all day, sit in the stands, eat some Cracker Jacks, peanuts, take some notes. I mean, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I just there is part of me that wishes I would have been a scout, back in the day. But it's you'd have to evaluate talent at a high level, I would imagine. So that's. There's nothing wrong with evaluating talent and taking in some baseball all day long down in Montgomery.
They do a good job. David Sharp, Austin Sharp do a good job there with Prep Baseball Report. You can check it out as well. Let's get a break in. When we come back, going to wrap you up for the final segment. Tomorrow's headlines today. Next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Wrapping up this morning with a wreck working at Wall, Triana, and Gillespie. That one had some injury involved. Everything else from earlier should be cleared out of the way. We got graduation traffic to watch out for around County Line and Doc Murphy. That may be causing some problems throughout the morning. 2030 Fast Track can make your clothes fall off. Greg lost 92 pounds in 6 months on the plan. A free hormone quiz will tell you if it can work for you. 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. And the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it.
Play ball!
It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortAndSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An isolated shower is going to be possible this afternoon. The best chance for this is going to remain west of the I-65 corridor. This is really the only opportunity for appreciable rain I have in the near or distant future. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. Some of us could see the lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. More sunshine for your Wednesday. No rain in the forecast. Temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 80s, dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Drew DeArmond is on the road. State softball tournament getting underway today. Best of luck to all of our North Alabama teams. Steve Moulton been filling in for Drew DeArmond all morning, but it is Tuesday, and so that means your tomorrow's headlines today, we turn it over to our good man, Jordy, who helps us bring our tomorrow's headlines today on Tuesdays.
All right. So do you guys remember Trent Richardson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Former Alabama running back, went number 3 overall in the 2012 NFL draft.
Got paid.
Yeah, got paid. So he's actually back. He has returned and signed a 1-year deal with the Mexican Professional Football League. And I'm not talking about soccer. We're talking helmets, shoulder pads, pigskin, football.
So what's the name of the team?
I'm not even going to try.
No. Come on. Try.
You want me to try?
Try.
Caudillos de Chihuahua.
He's a Chihuahua? Muy bien.
I probably butchered the mess out of it.
You Google the Mexican Football League, and all it comes up with is soccer. Because,
I would. Yeah.
That is.
So he's a Chihuahua.
He's a Chihuahua.
That's fantastic. That's almost as good as a trash panda.
Yeah, it's Caudillos de Chihuahua in Liga de Futbol Americano de Mexico.
So you even had the accent in there. I couldn't do that.
Wow.
Liga de Futbol Americano de Mexico.
See.
I believe that's how it all goes. He says a lot of people, Trent did go on to say, a lot of people don't get this opportunity. It's huge, and I know they think I'm doing them a favor, but they're definitely doing me a favor. A lot of people don't get this opportunity.
Can you try to imagine what a Mexican football stadium looks like? Do they actually have...
I mean, if they play it in the soccer venues,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
where the soccer lines are there, and you just kind of play football inside the soccer lines.
I don't know. But just for him to say a lot of people don't get this opportunity to play in a Mexican football league.
It could be like the Oregon track facility, but in my mind, I've got like those... what's the movie? Necessary Roughness Stadium.
I just watched that the other day.
Yeah, did you?
I did because
what an upset a tie.
I told my wife, I said, you don't realize, I said, how many people are actually, how many good people were in this movie. Yeah. I mean, you had Fred Thompson.
Robert Lozier.
And Scott Bakula, who's now in CIS. And then you had the dude that he was on Saturday Night Live.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. That was like when he was doing the copy, the making copies. Yeah. You probably don't even know what you're talking about, do you?
What you're talking about.
It's back when I watched Saturday Night Live.
All right. We digress. So Trent Richardson to the Mexican League. The other headline.
All right, so... You guys smell that? I smell some competition in there. Right? Well, actually, I have allergies, so that's probably I don't smell anything. but I will tell you who is smelling competition. LSU transfer quarterback, former LSU transfer quarterback, TJ Finley. So he is here. There's a very good chance if he transfers to Auburn, he could possibly take that starting quarterback position.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit about this yesterday, and we've kind of tried to follow this as it goes along. So if TJ Finley comes to Auburn, and it was in an AL.com article, that, he said that if he signs with Auburn, he's going there to compete for the starting job. If you're Brian Harsin, you don't tell him otherwise, though, right? I mean, you expect him to come in and try to start the job.
That's a good way to, iron sharpens iron. You want a good, healthy competition at the quarterback position. I read a story this morning that not only Auburn is trying to woo him, but Alabama is trying to woo TJ Finley as well.
I think Mississippi State, Alabama,
Ohio State.
Yeah. And then I believe there's some West Coast schools out there that are trying to get TJ Finley.
So I think this one-time transfer rule isn't – I mean, Nick Saban said it himself last month about be careful what you wish for. The rich are getting richer. I mean, he didn't flat out say, hey, we're about to create a Super Friends team like they do in the NBA, but it feels like here's your Super Friends team, and it's all residing in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Well, there is a lot of levels that we could go with and unpack that.
Yeah.
And I think we only got like 3 minutes left in the show, so there's no way we can unpack it all.
I got 2
I think tomorrow, that's where we look at because it is a lot to talk about. But I have another headline, though, and Frankie Sullivan, former Auburn basketball standout who is now the head coach at James Clemens, boys basketball, did a fantastic job there taking over for Danny Petty, Hall of Fame coach Danny Petty, I should say.
Yep.
Frankie Sullivan has a summer job this year. He has a summer job. Frankie Sullivan is going to be the coach, the head coach of the Auburn basketball alumni team in the basketball tournament this summer.
Nice.
And for those that don't know, the basketball tournament is the $1 million winner-take-all basketball tournament that teams have started forming. So you get these former college guys. I think Boeheim's Army is one of the popular ones.
It was our Oasis last year.
It was.
It was the only sport event that, ESPN was televising the darn thing.
Yeah, there's 64 teams. The winner takes all.
This is up in Ohio, right?
Well, it starts there. There's regional sites in Wichita, Kansas, Charleston, West Virginia, and those get underway in early July. Then there's Columbus, Ohio, and Illinois. That's weekend number 2. And then the championships are going to be in Dayton, Ohio. So Frankie Sullivan, James Clemens head basketball coach, is going to be the coach of the Auburn alumni basketball team. So $1 million, winner takes all. And then what it is each member of the team gets a certain share of that $1 million. And going in, you declare how much that is. So as a player, so if it was the 3 of us, we would divide the $1 million, and each of us have that share, and that's what you get if you win the whole thing. If you come in second, you get nothing.
Winner take all. I like it. It's something else to look forward to this summer.
It is. What else do we have to look forward to this summer? Not a lot.
Well, I will tell you, I at least any glimmer of hope that I can tell you, well, I'm going to tell you that our credential here at the station was approved for one Drudy Arman to cover the SEC baseball tournament next week. Wow. So there's a morsel of reality that we are getting back to reality with credentials being approved and the SEC baseball tournament coming next week.
Well, that's good, and he asked me about that yesterday, or we were talking about that yesterday, and he just hopes that the seat is a whole lot closer than it was for the SEC softball tournament, where they put you basically a mile away from the venue.
And a tent in front of a TV.
Yeah, and so, but that is good for the SEC baseball tournament. We will talk more SEC baseball because as the week goes along.
Hoover's a lot bigger of a venue, I'd like to believe.
It is in Rhodes Stadium, but there's a lot on the line. Auburn trying to play their way in to the SEC baseball tournament. Alabama more than likely will have to play in that elimination early game. If Auburn gets
Tuesday,
in, they're going to be playing on a Tuesday no matter what. Alabama trying to avoid playing on that Tuesday, but it's looking more like they are going to play on that Tuesday.
They got Mississippi State this weekend, too.
We're going to talk all that and more later in the week. Don't forget the Czar. I get to say it. The Czar and Chad Guasney coming up at 10. And then the drive with you and Wes later tonight.
We are at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Come on by and enjoy some of Pedro's authentic Mexican feast.
All right, guys.
Just for Trent Richardson.
We'll be back tomorrow.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance